So hi everyone. So today I want to do a little photo walk and talk. And I had gone out the other day and took a few pictures in the fall, and they were okay. In my 100th episode, I wasn't personally real happy with those. I don't feel like they had the kind of magic or something to it that I would be really super proud of to show somebody later. I mean, they were nice pictures, but I wasn't crazy about them. So I wanted to go out and try again. So I went out yesterday and I got a couple of pictures of some leaves, right, a macro shot, and I put that up on Instagram and got great feedback. So I thought I'd go ahead and share with you how I took those pictures. It wasn't too hard, but it's always better just to show you how I did it than just give you all the settings I used, right? Which are in the Instagram post. But like I said, I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy, right? And then the other thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the recent video from Tony Northrup about how Micro Four Thirds is dead. Because some of you had asked me what my thoughts were on that, and I honestly, it's been what, a week, and I don't know if anybody's even talking about it anymore. So, but I'll share with you a couple of my thoughts on that. But first, really, you should, if you haven't seen it already, you should watch Joe. I think his name is Joe Ellis or Joseph Ellis. I'll put a link down to his video. He kind of gave a response to that video, and I pretty much more agree with his response and the things he talked about than what Tony was saying in his video about Micro Four Thirds. So just watch that. That's a much better video than Tony's was. But I did want to expand a little bit on that and share with you my thoughts. I mean, honestly, if Micro Four Thirds dies, I mean, it's okay. We'll just buy something else, right? I mean, Micro Four Thirds has still got a lot of life in it, I think. But there were a few things. I'm sorry, I have my girl dog Ellie with me. There were a few things that you have. So you have to think about that. Most of us here on YouTube that are out, all the big channels anyway. I don't know anybody that works for Canon, Nikon, Sony, Panasonic, Olympus, and are actually insiders to be able to tell you things like Tony was saying in his video. So you have to take everything we say with a grain of salt. We're just camera users like you guys. We go out and take pictures. That's it. And anything we say that is anecdotal, and I found over time that, people, when they have a point to make, like Micro Four Thirds is dead, they go out and they find facts, statistics, figures, events that will back up that statement, right? And then you can have somebody else say, Micro Four Thirds is alive and well, right? And then I'll go out and find stats and statistics that will back that up, because I think last year, at least in Japan, Olympus was the #1 selling mirrorless camera in Japan. I don't know what it is in other markets. It's hard to find that kind of data. But I could do a lot of research and start saying, okay, yeah, no way Micro Four Thirds is dead. Look at all these stats and statistics and what's going on, and look what just happened over here, etc. So take everything we say with a grain of salt, and to his credit, he said, yeah, everything I say is my own opinion. That's what Tony was saying, and then that's, he's stating the obvious, right? But I think some of the conclusions he came to, or some of the rationale he had, is wrong, right, in my opinion. One thing that stuck in my mind was how he was saying that full frame sensors, cameras cost the same as crop sensor cameras, or vice versa. Crop sensor cameras are not costing the same as full frame sensors. And then he quickly said after that, he's not saying they have the same features, right? But they cost pretty much the same. And I'm like, well, you just busted your own argument. This camera over here has 20 more features than this full frame camera over here. So of course this is going to cost almost as much as this one. And the other thing that brought the cost of full frame cameras down is competition, right? Particularly from Sony. And then competition amongst themselves. I mean, and I would argue that the Micro Four Thirds cameras have forced full frame camera prices to come down. It's all about competition. So it's not that crop sensor camera prices have gone up relative to full frame sensor cameras, I think the full frame sensor cameras have had to come down, you know, because of competition. Because, you know, one of the biggest costs in manufacturing for cameras has got to be that sensor, right? Because how are those made? They're made on these little 8-inch silicon wafers. They look like a record disc, and they cost like $500 to $5,000 each. And you can only fit like 24, I think, full frame sensors on a single disc. You know how many APS-C sensors you can fit on a single disc? Something like 200. So there's a huge difference in raw material cost between APS-C and full frame. You know, and then there's other things that affect the price, like the failure rate of full frame wafers, you know, that have full frame sensors on them is much higher than the failure rate on discs that have the APS-C or micro four thirds sensors on them. Because the full frame sensors, I guess, have more circuits. You know, I don't know exactly why, but I'll put a link down to the one of the white papers I read from Canon about full frame sensors and APS-C sensors. But you know, it applies to micro four thirds. So, you know, I just thought that was a really invalid argument that full frame cameras now cost pretty much the same as APS-C or micro four thirds. Why would anybody buy the micro four thirds camera? I mean, there's people migrating from full frame to micro four thirds every day, right? So, and not because they're trying to save money, because yeah, if they do cost the same in some cases. And I think there was one other thing. I don't know. That was the biggest one that stuck in my mind. You know, if you want to hear more or see a good argument about that, Joseph Ellis did a good job with that. I just want to go out and take some pictures. And like I said, if there's anything big enough to take micro four thirds out, I think it's going to take out the, you know, full frames and APS-Cs with it. You know, it's not going to be like, you know, micro four thirds might be the first to go, but if it goes, I guarantee you all the other formats are not far behind. Just my opinion. So let's go ahead and get some pictures before it gets too dark, because man, this daylight savings is gone now. So now it's going to be dark like in about an hour. So I need to hustle here. All right, so I found these vines kind of growing around this wood here, and they got lots of nice little water droplets on them. So let's see what we can do with just the kit lens. All right, so I think I'm trying to find an angle or a triangle or something. Let's see. There we go. I have these 3 leaves here in the frame, and then I have this nice diagonal coming down. Stop moving. So let me try that shot. Okay, I found some leaves right here that I think will be a little bit interesting, and I'm going to just clear away some of this other stuff. Basically, I'm going to follow one of the rules of composition is rule of odds, right? So I'm just going to have 3 leaves here, and I'll just arrange them a little bit. It's kind of cheating, but it's not. Okay. And then I'll set up my tripod. And this will be with what we can get with just the kit lens. Let's see, I think I'd rather have these. Maybe come around this side. No, that's creating a little bit of a shadow. So compose this like so, and then I'll focus up here. Actually, I think we can do one more thing. Let me try adding some light. So I'm just going to turn this on. Ooh, I like how that looks. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to doing this as a macro. And what I'll do is put the macro tubes on. And I like to zoom in until I see something in focus, but it looks like I'm not close enough, so I'll need to get a little closer. So what I might need to do is adjust this tripod. What I like about this tripod is that the legs can go even flatter. Let me try and back up a little bit. I can get a little bit more in the shot this way. I'm gonna adjust this leaf a tiny bit there. That looks good to me. And back up. Will that focus? All right, I'm gonna add some light. Let's see what looks good. Let's try some with some really high speculars. And focus right up here on this specular. And that's pretty much how I took that shot the other day. I really like this dead log here. The bark on it's very interesting, and there's a leaf that fell on it here around some fungus. So I think what I want to do is maybe add a red leaf in there like so. And let's see, this one's kind of interesting. It's got a little red and yellow. This little spot here is turned into kind of a gold mine. I got some green moss here, and I got the fungus and the tree over here again. Let me find some red to mix in with the green, because red is a complementary color to green, right? Okay. And some of this, just want more of the green to show. And then I'll compose this. I like how this is getting framed this way. Maybe just do a little bit more, so that this is framed around by that with this nice green in here. Let's try that. Okay, and then over here is kind of an interesting, we got some blue, red, greens, we got all kinds of interesting colors over here. Let me show you. Look at this one I'm just filming. Zoom out a little bit. That looks really good. Let's try and do a diagonal. And I'm still at -1 exposure comp because I want to make sure I expose a little bit for the sky. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay everyone, so I'm going to wrap it up here. It's getting late, and you know, thanks again for following me along on my little journey here in Photo Walk. You know, I'll be posting the pictures up on Instagram, just straight out of camera JPEGs with, you know, the various in-camera art filters applied, because I really want you to see what's possible just straight out of camera using very basic gear without any Photoshop processing or anything. I mean, there's you know, processing in Adobe, Lightroom, Photoshop, you know, whatever is great, but you know, some of us don't want to do that. You know, we just want to take a nice picture, right? So that's what I tried to do today. And you know, let's put that other topic to rest, right? Is Micro Four Thirds dead? I mean, that topic in itself is dead to me. I just love these cameras, and like I said, if they stop making them, you know, it's okay. You know, we'll buy something else. But for now, we have these wonderful Olympus cameras. Let's enjoy them. Go out and start shooting. So, thanks again for watching. And if you'd like to see more videos, as usual, hit the subscribe button. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.